Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 531. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today's Tuesday, the 18th of May.
It is.
The other L of the Knit Girls turns 41 tomorrow.
Ooh. She's the oldest.
She is the oldest.
Huh. Happy early birthday, Alicia.
I'm sure she would love me saying that. Yeah, so it's been a busy week. I finished my last on-call for my previous position with the company.
Yay!
Which is awesome because it was a rough one. And in the future, I still will have on-calls, but the extent of it will be them calling me to say, hey, can I downgrade this or upgrade this because it meets these criteria? I'm like, yeah, I can do that on-call. And there's no guarantee you'll even get a call, so.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's just boring work stuff. It's Laura's last full week with kids.
That is correct.
In school, and so she's been doing a lot of manual labor, moving heavy textbooks around.
I've been doing textbook inventory, which includes, like, scanning all, like, 15,000 textbooks in the building. So yeah, that's been super fun, and dusty, and dirty.
Yeah.
But we got to take, so we have to hold on to textbooks 12 years after their adoption date.
Adoption date?
That's when...
Oh, you mean like when they were published, or when they were introduced to the curriculum?
When they were, yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, because you can't just say, I'm going to use this textbook, like...
Right.
There's standards. Anyway.
Because there's cost involved and all that, too, so...
Yeah, there is. So... For 12 years, even if we're no longer using them, even if we've adopted something newer, we hold on to them. And other counties in Mississippi can say, hey, you've got this book, we want to use it, can we have it?
Yeah.
After we surplus it and have gone to a different curriculum. So I was able to get rid of some stuff from a long time ago, from when I first started at Horn Lake. So that felt good.
Yeah.
Some books that I barcoded way back when I was a baby librarian.
When you started 15 years ago.
Yes. So some of those were able to go, and that felt good to move some stuff out of the building because we're adopting a new language arts curriculum next year. So I'll be barcoding books as they come in a lot this fall. August 2nd is my first day. So, which is my brother's birthday.
That's right.
He will not be 41. He will be, let's see.
He's younger than you, right?
Yeah. He will be 39. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's what I've been up to. It's super, super exciting. And taking up laptops. That's all I got. I have been doing some knitting, though. Have you been doing some knitting?
Not a lot.
I mean, you were on call.
You go ahead.
Okay, so I only have one work in progress. And that is, I know. There's only one. And that is the... Oh, no, I'm a liar. Ha ha ha.
Shocker.
I know. I don't know if I threw the other though. I mean, I literally just put it on needles. So the first thing that I'm working on is a pair of socks out of Knit Spin Farm in the dark sky colorway. This is her Targhee Sport Weight sock base. I'm knitting it on size 1 Addy sock rocket squared. And this is the second sock. So I turned the heel today. We had a faculty versus kids basketball game for our 8th graders to sell, kind of like as a celebration for the end of the year. And as I was watching...
Did the kids trounce the adults?
Oh, no.
Really?
Yes. My coaches are super competitive. Anyway. So, and it was like mixed teams.
Oh, okay.
So there were some female teachers that played, and our school nurse played, and our like testing coordinator played. It was fun. So as they were watching, I turned the heel as I was watching, because once I turned 35, I no longer played in those games because that is for suckers and people younger than me. Because everyone, like, this year we had no injuries, but there have been years where, like,
that's for
teachers...
people with collagen in their knees.
Yeah, like, there have been years where teachers have, like, torn ACLs, like, I'm on broken fingers. Nope, not doing it. It's very competitive and like very hardcore. Although my kids were really sweet with like the nurse and stuff and didn't like take her out. My guy basketball players especially. But anyway, I turn the heel and I knit maybe 2 inches, and I am going to get through this pattern, stitch pattern right here, this like gold and black, and then I get to start the ribbing. And the second sock will be done. So that's very exciting. This is the first one. So yeah, definitely making progress on those. Hopefully they will be done this week. And I have another pair of knit spin socks ready to go last month's. And that is living in my National Park bag from Amy Beth, the Fat Squirrel. And that's how much I have left. So for me, I wear a size 11 women's. If I do like a 5-inch cuff, it takes pretty much the whole skein. The other thing that's on my needles, I'm using this term very loosely because I was like, I don't have a whole lot to show, is I picked up the stitches for the second of the Into the World socks. So these were sock tubes that I cranked on our sock machine.
Backer Gear Heart Speedster.
Yep, and these are Into the World speckled dyed PAK
Koku.
Yeah, and the handbags at Dawn colorway. The orange is not that's waist yarn. So I had ripped back the first one and knit some ribbing quite a while ago, and now I have the ribbing to knit on the second one. Then I'll rip back this orange and do the toes, and then I will put in some heels. So, I mean, I did put them, rip back, and put those on the needles and knit a whole row.
I was going to say, I see at least a pearl stitch on there, so...
So, yeah, I did do a smidge of work on those this week. So that's all that I have active on the needles. I'm hoping to cast... well, I have to knit 2 baby hats at least this week. And then, to gift by next Wednesday.
You don't have anything in like a bucket that you can use?
Not in the size that I need them to be. So these babies will come in June, and I really need like
6 months,
6 to 9 month size. And I tend to knit newborn hats for the bin. So when I get home tonight, I'm gonna pull out some hand spun, I think, and cast on some hats and get those done. I'll have to look at some sizing on some stuff that I did. But yeah, I think everything that I've done lately has been newborn, which will not work. But yeah, that is it for me. How about you, friend?
Well, I have been working a little bit on the crochet blanket. I did get the skeins of gray that I needed, so I finished that one round. I've got 3 solid colors left, so I'm working on, I think I've got lime, some kind of rose, and duck egg is the last one, and I'm on the lime round. So I do like half a round a night while I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
So probably the next time you see it will be when it's done, because it is huge and heavy, and I don't like to bring it upstairs if I don't need to.
Yeah, it's not like you're watching TV up here.
Yeah. So the thing that I have been knitting on primarily this week, I cast on a couple months ago. We had a lovely viewer who sent us some yarn, several skeins of which will be prizes for Stash Dash. And in that was some of this Sunday Knits Eden. And I've been wanting to try Sunday Knits for ages. It's a woolen spun, and it's custom milled for, is it Carol
Fellner? Is it Carol Fellner?
Feller, maybe?
Yeah. Does it say on the tag?
No. That would be helpful.
It's custom milled for Sunday Knits.
Sunday Knits, yes, the company, but she's also a designer.
Okay.
I think it's Carol Feller.
Okay.
But it's woolen spun, so it's very light and airy.
I want to feel this because I haven't felt it yet.
Okay. But it's really light, like it's
it's not gonna weigh much at all.
So this is merino, 3-ply sport weight merino in the colorway of Iris.
That's pretty.
And I'm knitting this pattern by Heidi Kermayer, Chance of Showers, because this is about the level of sweater that I can handle. I get hot really easily.
That's cute.
So
it'll be a nice lightweight, like staple piece for your wardrobe.
Yeah.
That you can dress up and down.
I will say this pattern has a literal crap ton of short rows. If you don't like short rows, do not make this pattern. But
you can kind of tell that from the front.
That being said, she does do a great job of like giving you counts, so you can just sort of cross off as you go.
Nice.
Which is helpful. I did print this out weirdly, so instead of flipping sideways, it flips up and down. So right now I am working on the first set of short rows after the sleeve. So let me show you. It's not really going to mean anything to you.
No, so you've got the top part done.
So the top part is done.
And the sleeves are done.
And the sleeves you finish like most raglan style, like top down style. Tops have you, when you separate for the sleeves, you put the sleeves on holders, you come back later and finish those. And this one you don't, you knit the sleeves immediately.
Cool.
So, I mean, I suppose you could come back and do them later, but I just followed the pattern.
I like it being done. That's like less things to worry about.
Right, so as you get closer to the end, you're actually closer to being done.
And actually it's nice because if you are tight on yarn, you know exactly how, like if you're thinking about lengthening or whatever else, you can see exactly how much.
I do think that you have to come back and pick up around the neckline a little bit. Yeah, it looks like there is a lace around the neckline as well. It's got this 5 repeat lace pattern where it alternates the right and wrong side, so you get sort of a like a welted effect. After you've I can't think straight. After you've done the sleeves, then you start doing short rows around the back. So I haven't done a complete row yet from start to finish. It's all short rows to build.
You'll get there.
It's like building a huge bust dart, sort of. So I'm on 9 of 11 sets of short rows. The short rows is such a misleading term because they're still, like I want to say,
they're long rows.
200 stitches in a row. You're just not going all the way to the end. But it's really nice to work on. It doesn't make me too hot when I'm working on it in the evening. My cat that sits on me does make me hot, but yeah, it's really nice to work with. I definitely would love to work with this again. This is it in the skein.
Can you buy it from Webs or someplace, or is it just...
I do not know.
Okay.
I know you can buy it from the Sunday Knits website.
Okay.
Which should be linked in our show notes, and our show notes are always found at TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com. So yeah, so I'm enjoying knitting it. It's relatively brainless. I just have to, once I get past a certain set of markers, I have to count and figure out where I'm at. But yep, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
And I did finish a thing. I had to think, did I? So I finished the Mad for Plaid colorway of Knit Spin Farm socks. These are sport weight Targhee. It's the exact same base that Laura's knitting with, just different colorway, and they match relatively well.
They do.
The toe is a little bit deeper on one sock than on the other, but whatever.
My feet are different. Are your feet different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine are different lengths. Not as significantly different as the length of my legs, but I got a wooden one, and that one's a little shorter. So
that is a complete and total lie. But it is a Mary Poppins joke.
Oh, is it? I didn't know where it came from. I heard it somewhere else. But
well, there's...
I mean, it's not older than
Poppins.
Mary Poppins, so...
It might be older than Mary Poppins, but anyway.
But yeah, so I finished these. They're for me. Although Kobe has been asking for more socks, so I need to crank... well, I've still got like 4 tubes of socks that I can...
You can always clean the sock machine and use it to crank.
But why would I do that?
I know. Whoever uses it next has to clean it. And I have like 30 tubes. I'm good.
Why would it need to be cleaned after Laura's cranked 30 tubes on it? I don't know.
No, there's a substantial amount of pearl fur in my house.
Well, and the yarn kicks off lint as you crank it, so I mean it's unavoidable. But yeah, so that's my knitting.
Cool. I also have a FO. It is not blocked because I bounded off around an hour before coming here.
Yep.
Hi, baby.
I thought Laura was napping, and I got a text.
I was trying to nap. Like, I bounded off an hour ago. Yes, I need something. But it's not you.
Are you sure?
It is. So I texted my coworker to tell her I finished her baby blanket, and I'm thinking she might be having that baby because she didn't text me back. So perfect timing. This is the Twinkle blanket by Helen Stewart. I am really enjoying it. It is a good, like, it'll be like 30 some inches wide once it's blocked. I used a skein and a half, maybe a little over a half of Volmiza DK. That's what I had in my stash. I actually ran out with 2 rows to go. So it is a smidge smaller on that lace repeat than it should be, but I think it will still work.
I think it'll be fine, yeah.
And there's only like 4 ends to weave in.
Yeah.
Which I'm super stoked about. So I am going to weave in some ends and block this tonight so it is ready to be mailed to its new home. But yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Okay, I need you to
So this pattern can be knit in either a DK weight or a fingering weight. I used DK for this one, and I knit on size 6 needles. The fingering weight version I knit a couple months ago, I actually knit on size 5s. So, and that's basically, I think it calls for 7s or 6s. So, yeah. It's a nice, substantial... I think it'll be a good car seat / stroller blanket.
Yeah, it's slightly brighter than it's showing in the
yeah, Limone
video.
is so this is Volmiza Limone, and it is a very, like, big bird yellow.
It's got, like, the slightest tint of orange in the yellow, but it's very bright.
Yeah, so I think it came out well.
Yeah.
The only modification I made besides binding off a smidge early, and I bound off purl-wise because I was ending a smidge early, is I did a Judy's Magic cast-on for the middle of this one. So the points in the middle don't line up quite.
Neither do my quilting points.
But, I'm not super worried about it. Like, if I did the circular cast-on, then I would have to, like, tighten that and weave it in, like the top of a hat. So, I was fine with not having to do that. But yeah. Yay, and I'm sure it'll block out lovely. I need to clear off my blocking boards. Hi.
He's like, hey.
You're like a little anteater.
What's up?
With your long tongue. Oh, do I taste good? Am I delicious?
We clipped his nails yesterday. And Buffy's.
Wow. That's exciting. I need to clip Pearl's nails.
They don't mind it.
Except Pearl runs when I try to clip her nails.
He just sits there with his tail tucked like he's about to get beaten.
Oh,
Jesus. And must have a sharp edge left on one of them. That hurt.
Oh, Neelix.
Okay, go. Go find Daddy. Go.
So that is what I'm finished. Did you do any spinning this week?
I did not, because I'm waiting on my hip strings.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jill is a doll and hackled up some winter white something. I forget what it's called.
Winter Wonderland?
No, it's winter white something. But I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, so she invoiced me and I paid her. And
good.
It should be on its way.
Excellent. I did do a smidge of spinning. So on Saturday or Sunday? No, Sunday. I took a Stitches at Home class from Jillian Marino. It is actually a 3-part class. So I took the first part and it was loads of fun. There are some really nice people in that class, and the class is focused on spinning to knit. So, especially like knitting garments. So, as I was listening to Jillian wax poetically about grist and some other things, and like thinking about choices, like what you like about sweaters and what you want to include and what you might change, and how fiber affects that, I was spinning on my Sparrow. So I am spinning Into the World. This was the club colorway from April. It is BFL, also known as Blueface Luster. And this is the Hold the Line colorway. So it's got some teals, some bright orangish yellow, some like minty green, and some robin's egg blue in it. And I divided this into 3 chunks. So I just chunked it not stretching it this way, but like chunking it, like just pulling it apart into 3 separate sections. And when I did that, the first one I just spun end to end. So I grabbed one of these, I just spun to the end, and that's the whole bobbin. The second one, I divided this, I spread this out and divided it into 4 or 5 parts, however it wanted to split, because I don't want these in the finished yarn to match up. I want there to be lots of barber pulling and color variety. So I haven't decided what I'm doing with this chunk yet. And I can't spin it anyways because I'm out of bobbins.
Because?
Because I'm plying.
Well, because she doesn't ply often enough.
So these, and you can tell, like, these are much different bobbins, just in appearance. So these are the first 2 bobbins. And then I will have 2 more bobbins to go. Or no, 1 more bobbin to go, and it will be a 3-ply. BFL is a super dense fiber, so the yardage on this is not going to be terrific, but I'd love to knit this into either mittens or a hat. So, and I'm really thinking mittens. BFL is a longer staple fiber, so it will wear well with mittens. This is spinning a little fuzzy for me and a little inconsistent, and that's because I was paying attention to a class and not paying attention to my spinning. But I'm excited. It will still knit just fine, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. So that is what I'm currently spinning. I'm actually plying the hip strings that I showed you guys last week. I just didn't get finished with it before I came over. I started playing it on Sunday, and like I'm mad at, so I started playing Sunday morning because I needed bobbins for this class. And I was like, I need bobbins so I can sit there. Jillian let me know, hopefully, that it was not, there wouldn't be any spinning for the course in the first session, but I wanted to spin as I listened to her. So I applied the gradients that was like bright neons that I showed y'all. From a couple weeks ago, I started applying that. I think it was like Gwendolyn spins. It was the black light.
Gwenny.
Yeah, and I was kind of disappointed in it.
Yeah.
I was also disappointed in how I spun it. I did not add enough twist. So as I was chain plying it, it was breaking every like 1 to 2 yards.
Ooh.
So I got really good at joining for chain plying, like really, really good. So that's a good skill to have. But it does not make my heart sing. So I have that, but it also, instead of taking like 1 hour,
right,
took like 3 hours. So that was a little unfortunate. And then I got finally done with that, and I was like, I am just going to apply this hip strings real fast. So I have these bobbins. I did not get through all of them, well, before class time. So, but that's okay, because I only spun 1 bobbin during class, and it worked out perfectly. But the rest of this week, I am plying. So, at least my spare bobbins.
Stop.
So I have still those 2 hip strings, and then I have the 2 Hello yarn, 4 ounces on each. So 8 ounces to ply.
Jeez.
So that'll be nice to see what I think that'll be like a good shawl spin, so we'll see. But yeah.
Got a lot going on
All
with your
the
spinning.
flying. Yeah. I'd like to like spin.
Did you break it too?
Oh no, he did.
Like at the very bottom.
That's what happens when you're an old man.
This is true. Alright,
I've broken many.
You can't live in my lap. I'm sorry.
I know, it's not my fault for once.
Go, Michael's in bed. Go with him.
This is why we typically lock the dogs
Yes.
out. Alright, what have you been reading?
I've been reading T. Kingfisher. So, last week I was reading The Wonder Engine, which was, I think, the second in the Clock Tower Wars books, and that's it. It's completed.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get Neelix out of the room. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
He has not learned. He's looking at her like, no, I'm good here. Why would you put me out?
Buffy, you can come back in.
Buff, 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 buff.
Yeah, so I was reading the Cottar books. I finished the second one, and I wasn't in the mood for anything else I had on my Kindle, so I started a new T. Kingfisher book, and it's called, it's called The Twisted Ones. Sorry, our show notes are hidden at the moment. Yep, The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher, and it is sort of horror fantasy. Like, it's meant to creep you out, and it does. It's a very good job of it. So, I've been reading that one. I'm very close to the end of it, and it's a single book. It's not part of a series or anything. And I've been listening to, I've still been listening to Charlemagne the God's We've Got Answers for You. Or We've Got Answers, sorry.
I'm shocked that you haven't started the new TJ Klune.
Oh, okay. So, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Charlemagne the God's series is very good, but it's not one that you can binge. Like, there's each speaker or conversation and each conversation's with a different person, and each one's 45 minutes to an hour, and they've all been so brilliant that I've taken notes and, like, looked things up after, and so it's something you kind of have to digest
and process.
So I take a break after each chapter and do something else for a little bit. But yeah, so I did start the new TJ Klune book, Tales from Verania.
Okay.
I only got through the first chapter.
Oh, no.
It's not like it's terrible or anything. It's just not quite what I thought. I thought it would be, at least so far, and it might change.
I thought it was short stories.
That's what I thought. Like, it would be like a short story about a quest Sam goes on, or whatever, right? But so far, the first chapter was a story that Gary, the unicorn...
Hornless?
Yeah. Well, he's not hornless, because he gets his horn back in the last book, which you would know
if
you
had
finished the book. But it's like makes up this sort of...
Oh, it's him telling stories.
It's him telling a story,
a
like a Rapunzel type story.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very weird. And maybe they're not all like that, but the first one was.
I bet you they are.
And I had to take a break, and I was like...
Because it's like tales of, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I got you. It's kind of like The Princess Bride is.
Sort of, yeah. But it's kind of like the tangents that he would go, like, that Gary and Sam would get on, but chapters of them.
Oh.
And they're entertaining, but it's not something I can read solid through. Like, I have to break it up with other stuff. So, I forgot to put that on there, but I have started it. And I did finish Taskmaster. Like, there's nothing else that I haven't seen out there. They're finishing up a season right now. And I've started watching a similar one called Would I Lie to You?
Okay.
Which is funny as well. What about you?
I am listening to Shadow and Bone.
That's by Leigh Bardugo?
Yeah. I've been watching My Life is Murder, which is like an Australian
cozy mystery thing.
Yeah, with Lucy Lawless. And it's on Acorn. It's an Acorn original, I guess. And I guess they're doing a second season that they're filming now. That and Queens of Mystery, they're doing a second season of. They're filming now. And Agatha Reason, I think they're doing like a fourth season. Anyway. So I put that on for the baby blanket knitting. And I'll probably watch an episode tonight for plying. But yeah, nothing super awesome. Oh, you know what came today that I'm super excited about? Is, so I read earlier this year, or late 2020 really, I read the Fence graphic novels.
Yeah.
And they did, which is a graphic novel series that involves fencing, and it's set in like a private high school.
It's like a male-male romance, right? But it's very...
I mean, there's different characters, but yeah, it's like, it's got some male-male romance.
It's very PG. Like,
yeah, it's meant for young adults.
Yeah.
And so, last fall, they came out with, like, a young adult novel adaptation.
Oh, cool.
That kind of continues the story. Well, the second one came out today. And I bought it in paperback so I can donate it to my school when I'm done with it. If I so choose. And the first one, actually, was on Kindle for, like, $2 last week. So I bought it so I could just have it for forever. Because I enjoy it. It's just, some nice light fluff.
If Laura's house catches on fire, it's going to go up in a ball of flames. There is a lot of paper to burn in that house.
There is. And a lot of wool that would self-extinguish as well. But yeah, there are lots of books in my house. I have always enjoyed books, and I've always kept books from, you know, my original Nancy Drews and TheKnitGirlls and Cherry Ames all the way through. So Sweet Valley Twins I still have. I never got into Sweet Valley High.
I think I read a couple of them. I don't remember being into anything like any sort of series when I was younger, except I really liked the Choose Your Own Adventure ones. Laura and I were talking about this the other day. But, I mean, part of it was I didn't really have... My parents weren't big readers. My mom read Stephen King, but aside from that, my parents weren't big readers. And, you know, it wasn't something that was... There wasn't an environment that encouraged, you know, reading quite as much, so...
you do a ton of reading now.
I do.
It's digital reading.
I do a ton of reading, but
you do.
It is digital. And a lot of it's audiobook as well, which I still consider reading. It's the same thing. But, yeah. I have some sewing.
Oh, cool.
So, about a month ago, the company Sew Liberated, S-E-W, Liberated, came out with an overall pattern called the Otis Overalls. And as soon as they came out, I texted Amy Beth, and I was like, oh my god, did you see these overalls? And she's like, yeah, not only did I see them, I test sewed them.
Yep. She did a whole video about it, right? Okay.
And actually linked that video in our show notes. Again, our show notes are at TheKnitGirlls.com. Amy Beth does a brilliant, like, 1 hour video about mods and tweaks and areas where you could change things if you know didn't like this or that or what have you, and it's hilarious and brilliant, and she takes her pants off, so win-win, right?
Amazing. I don't sew, so I haven't watched this video, and Matt, you've sold me on it.
So I don't have a printed, you know, let me just pull them up real quick. I apologize for being on my phone, but I promise it's for a good reason. So, Liberated. Alright, here we go. Otis Overalls.
Those are cute.
Yeah, so this is the pattern. It's got wide bands, inseam pockets, as well as back pockets. And it's got this drawstring at the bottom back.
Oh, cute.
So you can sort of tighten it in, rather than having the buttons up the side like a lot of overalls do.
Love that.
It's a different thing. The only part of that is, how do you get out of that?
Yeah. You do have to reach, but you have to have some mobility.
So,
there is some implied mobility.
I will talk a little bit about that. So, this is my fabric. I'm just using, this is
it's the cutest fabric.
Sort of like a denim chambray. It's a light, kind of canvasy. It's simple. I wanted something that wasn't solid, that had a pattern on it, but wasn't directional. So I didn't have to worry about what direction the fabric was cut in, aside from the grain line. So, the Sew Liberated folks have a 5-day sew-along, and everything's videoed, so you can see how to do the different steps. So I finished day 1, and that included putting pockets. These are the back pieces. I am a large person. I don't know if you can tell that. But, and the pockets are already sewn in, and they've got, like, the...
I like how deep those pockets are.
Yeah.
That's like an iPhone 8 Plus deep pocket.
Yeah, they're very generous with their sizes there. So that's the leg part. The first step in this whole thing is to make the ties. The ones, like the drawstring thing.
Yeah.
This is the finished size, right? So the finished size is like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, somewhere around there, right? And the way that you accomplish this is you take a piece that's, I don't know, 1.5 inches wide, something like that, and then you fold it wrong sides together, and then you pull it inside out after you've
with like
it.
a safety pin or whatever.
This is too narrow for that. It is a huge pain. Like, I've got the little tool thing that you can stick up there and pin it, and then you pull it back out. Whammo magic, right? And I've used it a lot of times. The problem is that the tube itself is too narrow to allow that fabric to be pulled through.
Oh.
So, and funny enough, they don't show this part on the video.
Did you ask Amy Beth how she did it?
I did. Well, I texted her after, it took me 3 tries and 2 hours to make this work, and it's not perfect by any means. And I texted her, and I was like, it took me this long to do it, and she's like, oh, yeah, I just made, like, bias tape like I do for quilts, and I'm like, friggin' brilliant! I should have done that, because that, you fold wrong sides together, and then you fold it inward. And it's a little bit of a pain to press, but it would have been a lot easier than doing this. So if you're making the Otis overalls, when it comes to the part where you do your drawstrings, you cut it just like normal, but instead of doing it the way they told you, make it like you're making bias binding. So much smarter. Tip from Amy Beth.
Cool.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk, well, I started the pockets, the inseam pockets on the side, and the one
of day 2.
Yeah, it's day 2.
Okay.
But part of the appeal of this pattern is everything's flat felled. The seams are all flat felled, and so it's like a really nice finishing thing.
Okay.
But part of that is you have to press these seams open, and they're on a curve. And so in order to do that,
you need like that dummy thing.
Tailor's ham.
There you go.
Called that because it looks like a ham. So I just got this today.
Where'd you get that from?
Joann's.
Oh, okay.
My son, he works at a restaurant close to there, so when I dropped him off, I just ran by Joann's and grabbed this. So this way I can actually put it inside of here and press the seams open.
Look at that.
And have a flat surface. So I'm sure there's a workaround way to do it, but I didn't. I'd been meaning to get one for a while, so I used a 40% off coupon and moved on with
good purchase.
And this is the other mod that Amy Beth talked about, but she didn't do in her own because she was on a time limit. Because she was sewing, the
sample.
So these are the straps, and these are the ones that go, like over the shoulder and connect down in the back to where the drawstrings are. So what I did was I ordered some wide elastic, and I've fed it up through the tube, because these are made as tubes and then flipped inside out.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tack down this elastic a little lower than the straps would be, so that when I'm moving the straps on and off, I'll get that extra space.
Yeah, that stretch.
To
undo the ties?
No, because the straps, to take it off, the straps have to go over your head.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And so
there's no like grommet here?
No.
Okay.
It's completely fastened, like sewn down to the bib.
Well, I like that idea then.
So that's awesome. I wouldn't have thought of it, but Amy Beth did, and so that's
super smart.
By watching her video, I was like, yeah, that's brilliant. I'm totally going to do that. So I found some place on Etsy.
So we get caught in those overalls and never be able to get out.
And so you have to, there's like a margin of error where you need enough space in the crotch so that when you pull up to get it over your head.
So it's more of like a drop crotch thing.
It is a little bit, but not uncomfortably, not like hammer pants style. But yeah. Anyway, if you're considering making this pattern, highly recommend watching Amy Beth's video on how she modded it. We are not sponsored by Amy Beth, believe it or not.
But she's amazing.
She's brilliant.
And she's got a Patreon, I believe, if you want to sponsor her.
We support her as well. So, yeah. So that's all the sewing content. I did make a square, but it's friggin' terrible. So I'll show you.
Yeah, I want to see. I love terrible things.
So, I actually cut the fabric on this one wrong. And so you can't get this fabric anymore.
Oh, that's part of that kit, right? Okay.
Yeah. So I went on eBay and found fat quarters of these for like $20 total for like 7 fat quarters. And I was like, okay, that's fine, because then I'll have some spare and it'll make me feel better. So this is some kind of star.
I don't think that looks terrible at all.
You see it yet?
No, because I can't spatially do it. Yeah, nothing's gonna stick out to me because spatially.
So these are this is top right, top left.
Oh, it's
so
reversed
these should be those should be flipped the other way. And I didn't notice it until I was sewing this last little edge piece on.
I think it looks fine, though.
And I'm like, yeah, not going to pull that out.
No, I like it. So, actually, because it kind of, it mimics that, so it doesn't bother me at all.
I don't care.
And I never would have noticed had you not told me.
So, I didn't notice until I was putting the last, like, edging thing on. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I don't care. Like, nothing else on this quilt is perfect, so why would this be perfect? It's fine. Yeah, so that's all of my sewing that I have for this week.
Cool. We have started Stash Dash on Discord, and Stash Dash itself has not started. Right. It starts not this Friday, but the following Friday, which I believe is the 28th? Maybe the 29th.
The 31st is a Monday.
I can't see the dates because Leslie covered the show notes with our faces.
30th, 29th, 28th. Yeah, Friday will be the 28th.
So it will start then. We're doing it on Discord. Someone asked me if we would be doing it on Ravelry as well. And my answer to that is no, just because if I have to mod 2 different places,
there's no way.
Then I won't get any of my crafting done, and that would be very sad for me.
Like, Stash Dash, while our folks are great at policing themselves, very rarely do we ever get anything flagged or have to deal with that sort of thing. Our viewers are brilliant and always posting brilliant things,
and I want to see it all.
Yeah, and so we want to see it all, so we're always in the threads, like, you know, favoriting things and all that. So Laura and I have both been learning Discord this week.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been super fun. I have to turn off notifications on it for my phone because it buzzes my watch at work, and I missed like 2 phone calls from my boss today. So, because I was like, I was scanning textbooks, and I was like, that's just Discord notifications. I'm not even looking.
Yeah, I don't turn notifications on for anything on my phone. So,
but it's been fun seeing stuff as people have been posting too.
It feels much more conversational on Discord, which is great. But I also have never felt so old in my life as trying to learn a whole new platform.
I'm enjoying it, and we're all learning together, for the most part, so that's been super fun too. Like, people are helping other people. Silver has been super great at helping.
I watched her video,
so yeah. Oh, see, I haven't even watched her video yet. I've just been playing and Googling. But what we're gonna do this year is instead of doing like our traditional rules video, I'm actually going to record me on Discord. I'm just gonna record my screen, so you guys can see it. So it's gonna be super simple. I'll go over the rules are the same as they've been for previous years. So we haven't had rule changes in a couple of years, so we'll copy and paste those over. Like always, if you ever have questions, you guys know our emails. It's Laura@TheKnitGirls.com,
or you can just at Laura and it'll notify her.
And Leslie@TheKnitGirls.com. And and the one thing about Discord that I'm not super a fan of is the links expire after 7 days. So we have to make sure, in order to get in, we'll have to update the link. So please
just search for the Knit Girls. You'll find us.
Yeah, please don't use like old links. Like, so if you're watching episode 531 and it's now June 15th, that link's not going to work.
But if you search Discord for the Knit Girls, you should find, or for either one of us, you should find us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will be updating. There's also a link in the profile of the Knit Girls Instagram that I added.
Okay.
And have been, at first it messed up, but no, people let me know, and I fixed it. And we'll also use a hashtag #stash-2021 on we're gonna use TKG #2021 on Instagram. So if you're not willing to learn Discord,
or you just don't have time in your life to learn it, that's totally fine.
Yeah, you can still
if I wasn't a mod, I totally wouldn't. I'd be like, whatever, I'll look at it when it's done.
Leslie never looks at Stash anyway. Like, I don't. Never participates.
But I like the Discord. Definitely feels more conversational. It feels less like posting a newspaper article than it does like a conversation to me.
I would agree with that. I'm enjoying it immensely.
Yeah, so it definitely feels like.
And there's a whole voice memo thing that we haven't even played with
yet. And I think there's a way to do video streams, because Discord was initially for video gamers, so I got to figure that out. But there's some way to do video streams with it as well. I just don't know how. So
cool.
Things to look up.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think so. So, the week before, the rules have not changed with Stash Dash, but I'll do the video and I'll also show Discord. I've gotten really good at recording my computer screen for work.
Yep.
And doing video tutorials for my kiddos on how to use different things. So hopefully I will take that knowledge
and
bring it over. Anyway. Yeah. So, that is it for me. Do you have anything else?
You back done with your socks?
I just started the blue part of the ribbing. So I've got a little ways to go. But that's okay. They can live in my book bag.
Yeah.
My backpack, which was so heavy today, my car thought it was
another person that needed to buckle up.
And was beeping at me incessantly. And I don't know why it was so heavy, but it was very heavy this morning. I don't know.
Because your purse is a book bag.
I mean, that is true.
But.
Alright, we will see you all next week.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, have a great week. And that's about it.
Yep.
Bye, y'all.